Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We can query our database till the cows come home, but we're not going to, there'll be nothing show up.
That's FBI Director James Comey testifying in front of Congress that there's no way to properly screen Syrian refugees. Thanks for joining us tonight. Today, Valley News Team's immigration and relocation reporter Bradford Eric took part in a conference call with former State Department and top Homeland Security officials. The focus of the call was to address the refugee screening process, addressing questions related to just how thorough the process is. Bradford joins us now with much more. Bradford?
It was a public relations move to quell the fears of many people that terrorists will slip through what has been called a deeply flawed process. The various proposals in Congress are deeply disturbing, and it is playing into the hands of ISIS with our refusal of refugees. That's how former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright categorized the situation facing the country. Albright kicked off this conference call denouncing the American Safe Act of 2015. That's the House legislation that would require each new refugee to be personally screened by the Director of National Intelligence. Up next was Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas. He's been criticized and investigated by his own agency, accused of playing political favorites while in charge of a controversial immigration program. Mayorkas laid out in little detail the process a refugee must undertake to properly be allowed resettlement in the United States. Again, FBI Director James Comey testified in front of the House Homeland Security Committee that Syrian refugees cannot be properly screened.
Yes, I think that's the challenge we're all talking about, is that we can only query against that which we have collected. And so if someone has never made a ripple in the pond in Syria in a way that would get their identity or their interests reflected in our database, we can query our database till the cows come home, but we're not going to, there'll be nothing show up because we have no record on that person. That's what Assistant Director Steinbach was talking about. You can only query what you've collected. And with respect to Iraqi refugees, we had far more in our databases because of our country's work there for a decade. This is a different situation.
Make sure that Christians are...
During the Q&A portion of the call, the first reporter asked Deputy Secretary Mayorkas about these comments by the director. Mayorkas said Comey referenced gaps in the vetting process that he perceived to be existing, adding that the screening process has included additional database checks for Syrian and Iraqi refugees already. Several questions later, it was asked if a Syrian refugee is not in any of the databases, will they still be admitted? Deputy Secretary Mayorkas danced around the question, saying the person would be checked against all databases for criminal history, visa denials, and other various information. But if they don't show up, Mayorkas said the absence of information does not mean a vacuum, adding that each person is still interviewed in person and that admission to the U.S. is not based solely on a person's own account. The Obama administration continues to defend the screening process as the most rigorous questioning process in place today.
All right, great information, Bradford. Thank you. Now, for more information related to the actual process that someone must undertake to be admitted to the country as a refugee, we've attached a link to information from the White House outlining that process. Just visit valleynewslive.com and click on this story. An investigation is underway after inappropriate images were found on school-issued iPads. The Detroit Lakes Police Department says that they were contacted about the pictures by a parent. The iPads were brought in. It was discovered a female student had downloaded the messaging app Meow Chat with a Hello Kitty theme. Police say they found out the girl had been talking to somebody on the other end of the app who claimed to be someone they were not. Police think it's a sexual predator. Police say the investigation began last week and the student involved is under 18 years old. Well, it's a beautiful November day out there. Lots of sunshine today, and the temps, man, they weren't too bad. Let's talk to Hutch Johnson to see if they'll last through the evening. Hutch?
We are very mild heading into the evening, but with the clear skies, we cool off fairly rapidly as well. We danced in the low to mid 40s in the southern counties, and looking out to the west, we see a little bit of light precipitation showing up on the radar as warmer air tries to push in. That's a warm front out there. We stay mild here this evening, a little cooler to the north and to the east. 34 in the 7 o'clock hour here, so we do cool off a little bit. Light winds that will be shifting as we go through the overnight. We'll see an increase in clouds into our Wednesday, but One more mild day before a little wild weather for holiday travelers ensues. I'll have the latest on a chance of snow, maybe some icy precipitation for some here in the valley coming up in a couple of moments.
It was so nice today. No ice yet.
Yeah, a little frost, but nothing really bad yet.
All right, thanks, Ash.
You bet.
After getting an anonymous tip, the Grand Forks Police Department arrested 3 men for being in possession of marijuana. Curie Hill, Hassan Muhammad, and Hadefi Muhammad were all charged for possession of marijuana and with the intent to deliver and possession of marijuana paraphernalia. Hill was also charged with driving under suspension and possession of marijuana while operating a motor vehicle. Marijuana and cash were taken from these men. A man is in jail tonight after police say he crashed into garages at a West Fargo apartment complex. Washington Bowman is facing charges for DUI, hit and run, endangering a vulnerable adult, and reckless endangerment. Police say he was driving a van yesterday with 2 adult nonverbal passengers who live in a group home when he was involved in a crash with another vehicle. Police say Bowman drove from the first crash scene, then hit 2 garages at the Prairie Park Apartments. No one was hurt in the crashes, but Bowman was driving for the Red River Human Services Foundation. It's a nonprofit that serves people with disabilities. He has been fired. The nonprofit says they have a zero-tolerance policy towards drugs and alcohol.
I am very disappointed on what happened. We've never had this happen in the past, and we will make it very clear to staff that this cannot happen, will not happen.
Red River Human Service Foundation says they have a multi-step process for hiring drivers and that Bowman passed all those standards. The organization says this is the first incident they've ever had like this. Fargo police want everyone to be aware of what's going on in their neighborhoods and in their community. So tonight they're sitting down with residents living in Fargo's West District to answer some questions about crime and safety. Now, that district includes West Acres, Village West, Amber Valley, Urban Plains, Brant Crossing, and Osgood, just to name a few. The meeting starts at 7 tonight if you'd like to go. It's at the West Acres Community Room. Police say the purpose of the meeting is to talk about crime, safety tips, and address concerns. Suicide and a shortage of healthcare workers for other medical problems continue to be a major concern across North Dakota. Officials at UND's Center for Rural Health say improvements are being made in some areas, while other areas are still lacking support. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson shows us what's happening.
In many areas across our region, getting to the doctor can mean a long drive. It's been a problem plaguing North Dakota for decades, a shortage of healthcare workers.
90 years ago, and you'd asked me, I'd have said, well, it's getting providers out in these areas, and that's a problem.
However, the last legislative session took a $124 million step in trying to solve that problem. UND's new medical school and health sciences building is scheduled to open next summer. It will graduate larger classes of doctors and other healthcare workers, North Dakota-born healthcare workers who are more likely to stay in North Dakota.
And off the top of my head, something like 75% of them practice primary care in North Dakota. That's what we need.
You may know someone who's attempted suicide or someone who died from it. Perhaps even you have had thoughts of suicide.
However, the number of suicides across the state remains high. It's the second leading cause of death for people 15 to 24 years of age. Experts say one of the biggest factors in North Dakota is alcohol.
A lot of the factors that contribute to that kind of thing are here in North Dakota. It's a healthy state in most ways. In almost all measures, this is an incredibly healthy state, but drinking's a problem.
Hart says it's a problem in all rural areas because of a shortage of addiction counselors. In Grand Forks, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
Hart says they only collect and present the problems to policymakers. Then it's up to legislators and the public to look at the problems and decide whether they deserve funding. If you want more information about rural health concerns, we have a link to it online. Head to valleynewslive.com, click on this story. A local man waiting for an organ transplant says government red tape is getting in the way of the care that he needs. And if nothing is done, he's willing to end his life. Valley News Team's Nicole Johnson has this story tonight, only on Valley News Live, 10 at 10. The dangers of some Ford vehicles still ahead tonight. what you need to know if you own one of these.
And a great start to the work week with temperatures rising into the 40s in the Southern Valley. We have one more nice day. Travelers be advised, some slippery conditions for the holiday. I'll detail that next.